Hey everybody, Jim here with another video for you. This is Ranking the Filmography, Tony Scott. But before we begin, at the end of this video, if you like what you see, please give me a thumbs up, a possible subscribe, but most importantly, leave comments below. Let me know how you feel about Tony Scott's filmography and what your rankings are. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to rank Mr. Scott's filmography. He has 16 feature films that were released theatrically in America. The first one was in 1983, which was The Hunger. And the final one was in 2010, I believe, which was Unstoppable. Unfortunately, he committed suicide and passed away at the age of 68. Tony Scott is the brother of Ridley Scott, of course. Ridley Scott, well regarded as a master filmmaker, but to me, Tony Scott is a master filmmaker in his own right. Ridley Scott is more of an auteur. Tony Scott was just a meat and potatoes, crank out great movie after great movie. As I said, we have 16 titles. I don't love all of these movies, but I like just about every damn one of them. And some of them, well, we'll get to them as we get to them, but I hope you enjoy this. We're going to go ahead. We're not going to get too far into plots because if we do, I'll be here talking for an hour. So let's begin. At number 16, we have The Fan, starring Robert De Niro, Wesley Snipes, Ellen Barkin, and John Leguizamo. This is a stalker film. Decent performances. Not my favorite movie, obviously, and it's definitely not my favorite Tony Scott film. But as it is, it's still a extremely well-made movie, as is every film in this list. Number 15, from 2009, The Taking of Pelham 123, starring Denzel Washington and John Travolta and James Gandolfini. As I said in the 2009 video, if I never saw the original 1974 classic starring Walter Matthau, I would love this movie and it would probably be higher up on this list. But because that movie is such a classic to me and because I love it so much, unfairly, I still have a little bit against this movie, and I shouldn't, because again, like every other movie on this list, it's extremely well made. Number 14. Tony Scott's debut from 1983, The Hunger, starring Catherine Deneuve, David Bowie, and Susan Sarandon. This is an erotic vampire thriller. And again, very well done, very stylized. This is definitely a product of its time. Number 13. Days of Thunder, starring Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman, Robert Duvall, and Michael Rooker. Let's face it, this is Top Gun in a race car. That's all it is. Again, well made. Robert Duvall is the main reason why this movie is placed as high as it is, because quite frankly, I've never been a fan of this movie, but there are moments I really like, and again, I love Robert Duvall. But speaking of Top Gun, from 1986, Top Gun, starring Tom Cruise, Val Kilmer, and Kelly McGillis. This is definitely the movie that launched Tony Scott's career. This was his second feature film, and this movie was a blockbuster. If you would have asked me 20 years ago to rank these films, this probably would have been ranked number 1. Okay, guys, we're getting down to the top 10 now, I believe. 2, 4, yep. Number 10, Deja Vu, starring Denzel Washington again. Denzel was in a lot of movies with Tony Scott. Val Kilmer again. Paula Patton and Bruce Greenwood. Mid-90s film. science fiction thriller. Again, very well paced. Good movie. Very good movie. Number 9, his final film, Unstoppable. Starring the aforementioned Denzel Washington again, Chris Pine, and Rosario Dawson. This is based on true events, as it says right there. And again, as I said, this was his final film, but he went out with a bang because this movie was a hit. Critically, it was well accepted, well received, and again, real good movie. Okay, next, and this one's going to be a surprise to a lot of people, Revenge. Now, I have to say, this is the director's cut, and the reason why this movie is as high as it is because it's the director's cut. I bought this movie basically to fill out the filmography because I've never been a fan of this movie. I'm sorry, starring Kevin Costner, Madeleine Stowe, and the incredible Anthony Quinn. But anyways, I ordered a couple of these movies just to fill out the filmography. Didn't realize that this was a different version. And this is actually a 20-minute shorter version than the theatrical version. It's tighter, and it's really good. This is the preferred version of this movie. For anybody who's on the fence for Revenge, try to get the unrated cut. It's a much different version. I mean, it's the same movie, but again, edited differently. It's a better movie. Now we're getting into the stuff that I really, really like. Next I should say on the list, Spy Game. Starring Robert Redford, Brad Pitt, and I always forget her name, Catherine McCormick. And yeah, love Spy Game. It was in the top 10 of that year from my years on film. Next, for my Beverly Hills Cop collection, the second installment, Beverly Hills Cop 2. Starring Eddie Murphy, Judge Reinhold, Jurgen Prochnow, and Ronnie Cox. Not as good as the original, but still, very funny movie. Next, The Last Boy Scout. Written by Shane Black and starring Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans. And again, this movie also made the top 10 for that year. Okay, top 5, guys. Number 5, Domino. Starring Keira Knightley, Mickey Rourke, and Edgar Ramirez. This movie is absolutely crazy. It is insane. Very divisive. A lot of people don't like this movie at all. I absolutely love it. I think it's great. But these next 4, nobody can deny. All 4 of these movies are incredible. Number 4, Enemy of the State. Starring Will Smith and Gene Hackman and about 150 different actors in small roles before they were famous, like Jack Black and Jamie Kennedy and a lot. Jon Voight's also in this movie. Conspiracy thriller, one of the best from that decade. This is a great movie. Number 3, Crimson Tide. Again, starring Gene Hackman and Denzel again. This movie is one of the best suspense military dramas from the 90s. It is such a great movie. All-star cast, Viggo Mortensen, James Gandolfini, a lot of people in this movie as well. Crimson Tide, great movie. Incredible movie. Number 2, Man on Fire. Again, starring Denzel with Dakota Fanning, Christopher Walken, and Radha Mitchell. I just talked about this one in the top movies from 2004. This came in at number 2. Absolutely, absolutely love this movie. But my number 1 Tony Scott favorite film, and this one wasn't hard at all. True Romance. Written by Quentin Tarantino, and with an incredible, incredible all-star cast, starring Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette, Dennis Hopper, Christopher Walken, Brad Pitt, James Gandolfini, Bronson Pinchot, and a million others. This, without a doubt, is not only my favorite Tony Scott movie, it's one of my favorite films from the 90s. And outside of Pulp Fiction, it's probably my favorite Quentin Tarantino related property. I absolutely love this movie on every level. It is so good. So to recap our list, number 1 is True Romance. Number 2 is Man on Fire. Number 3 is Crimson Tide. Number 4 is Enemy of the State. Number 5 is Domino. Number 6 is The Last Boy Scout. Number 7 is Beverly Hills Cop 2. Number 8 is Spy Game. Number 9 is Revenge. Number 10 is Unstoppable. Number 11 is Deja Vu. Number 12 is Top Gun. Number 13 is Days of Thunder. Number 14 is The Hunger. Number 15 is The Taking of Pelham 123. And number 16 is The Fan. And even though The Fan is number 16, again, none of these movies are bad. Some of them are good. Some of them are very good. Some of them are great. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, possible subscribe. And most of all, please leave those comments. I can't wait to hear from you. I also have a poll on my community page right now about the next ranking video we're going to do. The choices are Kevin Smith, Star Trek, or the Alien and Predator franchises. That poll will be closing Friday at approximately 12 o'clock Central Standard Time here in the U.S. So if that's something that you're interested in, please head on over there and vote. Hope everybody's having a great day, and we'll see you on the next one.